In 1986, I had the privilege of working alongside Bob Glasgow on Lou Holtz's first coaching staff at the University of Notre Dame. As an alum, Bob Glasgow was already a well-recognized name among Fighting Irish fans. In the long succession of legendary performances of those who donned the blue and gold, Bob left his permanent mark on the timeline in Notre Dame's storied football history 2 decades earlier. In what was known as the Game of the Century, Bob scored the tying touchdown for the number 1 ranked Fighting Irish as they took on the 2nd ranked Michigan State Spartans. In so doing, he secured his place alongside other Fighting Irish gridiron greats. As a rookie for the then Boston Patriots, Bob had a rather unique experience. In those days, the American Football League was still a fledgling enterprise and a few years away from merging with the well-established National Football League, so they did whatever they could to reduce expenses. One such cost-saving measure led team management to cut some players from the roster just prior to the team's last exhibition game, so that they might have a skeletal crew for the remaining contest, and then to re-sign them when they were ready to begin the regular season. Bob was one of those individuals. One such cost-saving measure led team management to cut some players from the roster just prior to the team's last exhibition game, so that they might have a skeletal crew for the remaining contest, and then to re-sign them when they were ready to begin the regular season. Bob was one of these individuals. Having nothing else to do on this particular day, and because the last preseason game was hosted by the Patriots, Bob decided to attend the contest with one of his good friends. As the pregame warm-ups drew to a close, Bob's pal went to the concession stand to pick up refreshments for them both, while Bob remained behind. What Bob and his friend did not know was that one of the Patriot players had injured himself during warm-ups and, like Bob, he also happened to be a running back. Because of the commotion under the stands, Bob's pal could not hear what Bob heard come over the public address system. Would Bob Glasgow please report to the Patriots locker room? Bob Glasgow. Having no idea why he was being paged, and reasoning that he would be back well before his friend returned from the concession line, Bob chose not to apprise his mate of the situation, but, instead, dutifully made his way to the team's dressing room. When Bob checked in, he discovered his equipment and uniform waiting for him. The explanation he sought he never received, but his instructions were to the point: suit up. Still trying to comprehend what had just transpired, Bob quickly got dressed and headed for the Patriot sideline. Since the injured team member that Bob replaced was also on the kickoff coverage squad, Bob was placed in the position that had just been vacated and immediately guided onto the game field. Astonishingly, although he really had no idea what he was doing, and he had not had so much as a chance to stretch or even touch his toes, Bob ran down the field and somehow stumbled into the Miami Dolphins ball carrier. It was just at that precise moment that Bob's friend emerged from the concourse and made his way back to their seats carrying their drinks and snacks. He was curious about Bob's absence, but even more puzzled when he heard from the loudspeaker, Bob Glasgow on the tackle. When the master coach needs someone to go, coaches do not look around to see if another can fill the position. They gladly volunteer, step up, and proclaim, "Here I am, send me." Similar to Bob, Christian coaches never know when their number might be dialed, but when their time arrives, they never fail to answer the call. And like Bob, they are ready to scramble in a moment's notice. To paraphrase Newt Rockney, one man practicing faith is far better than 100 teaching it.